All right, gang. Morning, afternoon. Gotta see if you guys can hear me properly. I didn't like the audio last time, so I want to make sure you guys can hear me before I start today. Let me set my coffee down. All right, I'm doing live Q&A on Wing Chun today. Just stand by for a second and see who winds up logging on. Excuse me. Got to test. Oh, wait, hang on. Ooh, I can hear it. Okay, great. All right, so we're doing live Wing Chun Q&A every Thursday. We do the live after Mondays is form day. Wednesdays, I'm doing technique days. So yesterday, if you didn't wind up seeing, we did bong sao, and we wound up pak sao yesterday. This is straight on. I don't know why the camera's at an angle. Let me extend this a little bit and see if this makes it better for you. Hang on. That should make it better. Sorry about that. All right, I want to cover Q&A from questions that I got in on the videos themselves, and we'll go from there. Remember, this is your time to wind up asking me whatever, but I appreciate you guys. A big shout out to, by the way, Indianapolis Wing Chun, Naptown Wing Chun crew. Some of my favorite guys on the planet when it comes to Wing Chun. Obviously, Sean McGuire, Clint Cloyce, Casey Couch, Christine. I don't know who still trains there. Steven, holy shit. Steven Lee is the future of Wing Chun. If you guys don't know who he is, the kid, he and I touched hands a couple years ago, and it was like, I was like, oh, yes! And he just came out to fucking smash and bang, and I'm like, all right. And now he's got control with smash and bang and energy with smash and bang. That kid's fucking deadly, and you keep your eye out on him. So he's with the Naptown Wing Chun, Indianapolis Wing Chun. Love you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. I'd like to answer some questions. No, I'd like to answer some questions from the videos from the other day. So hopefully I'll get these names right. I apologize if I don't. All right. The first, well, I'm going to get to this one in depth. Video James asks, I appreciate this. Oh, he makes a statement. He doesn't wind up asking a question. John Thayer, question for Thursday's session. Why does your pak sao look like an extended wu sao when the palm facing side? The way I learned it is to press forward with the pak sao outside of the elbow or forearm of the opponent. Thank you for doing these videos. I love these Wing Chun fundamentals. The issue is that's just a placement. It's training, right? So if yesterday I talked about pak sao, it comes out and it stops where my shoulder and my pec meet. That's just a placement. And I'll get to you guys' questions in a second. So I'm going to answer the ones that were on the video yesterday, then I'll answer the lives in a second, Pablo. So I'm stopping here. It's just a placement, and I'm recognizing that when I do wind up making contact, it's going to be probably where the bone meets my wrist, and that gives massive impact. So I'm just holding it out there. I'm not. In actuality, I'd put it out there like this, so it would go a little bit out to the side depending upon where the weapon came in. So it's just training. It's training for perfection. That's all. I'm aware that it's boom. And plus, I also on a finish, and this is one of the things in the dummy that I don't like. People chase dummy shit out to the side. Well, you should be making the second you make contact with the dummy arm, boom, you turn off that energy off, and then it goes into the dummy, the base of the dummy, the body of the dummy. Same concept. Even when I train in the air, boom, it's here. I still want that pisiform bone. If you're my center, you're my enemy. Pisiform bone, my center line, my intent, and my elbow still go into you, even though my pak went out to the side. So to answer your question, it's just training. That's the only point. The only point or purpose for that. All right. CB says, and by the way, you guys are all a bunch of. CB says, I don't want to slow you down a bit, but I think I'm missing a hidden gem. At the 15 minute 14 second mark, you speak on not attacking and defending simultaneously. After I rewind it 3 dozen times, I came away with the idea that you're implying do one then the other, but this is not, but not the other. Is that correct? No. The concept is one of the very first movements we teach people in Wing Chun is that Tan punch, right? You're attacking and defending at the same time. When you when you teach students to do two things, like, hey, look, you are attacking and defending, you're confusing them, you're overwhelming them. If you simplify everything, that punch is the attack and defense. So if a punch comes in, right, if you're my opponent and you're throwing a roundhouse punch to my to the left side of my head, so you're throwing a hook right roundhouse, and I just fire up the middle with a straight punch, well, I'm attacking you. By attacking you, I am defending myself. It's just a theory. It's just a theory. If you figure, boom, I throw that out there, maybe I punch you, and by the time your punch is in infancy and I make that contact, I successfully defend myself from getting that attack. So if you simplify things, instead of two beats, one movement, it's just by attacking you are defending. So that's simultaneously attack and defense. Oh, he's got a lot of replies here. I'm going to answer. I'm glad you guys are answering your questions in here too, along with you. Many thanks. This is from Rusiart, Ruiseart, Elkhorn. Many thanks. One question: I have a slight injury on the outside of my shoulder. Age. Don't we all have that? It doesn't bother me when I do any movements like lifting weights. However, my right bong sao is painful unless my shoulder comes forward slightly. You just answered your question. Fucking love this. I love this. The action of rotating my shoulder and having elbow at that angle causes discomfort. However, if I allow my shoulder to come forward, there is no problem. By doing this, am I messing up my bong sao? No! You are making it your bong sao. Brilliant. My left shoulder sucks. My right shoulder used to suck. I don't know why it doesn't suck anymore. Oh, it's okay. Not that bad. Not that bad. Fuck. Shit. Piss. Right there. Ugh. The pressure. It's horrible. And it's bad. It's just years of being a meathead, lifting weights and all that crap. Here. Boom. Stress off my shoulder. But remember, it's gone. It's momentarily. Bong sao you shouldn't even see. And bong sao in the air, it really doesn't give you any justice because you're not getting that pressure to do bong sao properly. So when somebody feeds you bong and you're like, oh shit, man. It's like, that's how that goes. It's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Thank you for answering your own question. No, you made it yours. And to be honest, like I said, so we train the punch at this level. That's here, right? You train the punch here. Well, if you punch somebody like that, did you get the job done? Yeah, so if your bong is supposed to be here perfectly, but your bong is like here, and what does it matter? You did it properly. You answered your own question by figuring out a problem. You adapted your body. Oh, it's good to see you on too. I hope that made sense. So no, you didn't violate anything. You trained it, and your body told you what it needed to be done. Fantastic. All right. Moving on. One other big question I saw. Somebody made a comment, and I thought this was great. This was a statement. Where is this at? Chris Lopez Sr. Sir, Mr. Izzo, I appreciate your time here. I was one of those turned off by your Bruce Lee video, but came back to listen and understood your point. I see you speak of your Wing Chun by your experience, which is always a more intense way than taught by somebody who perhaps never pressure tested their concept. Oh, trust me, I have. I hope you understand what I mean. Either way, great stuff. Thank you. Well, thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. All right, this is a good question that I promised I would answer. Where the freak is it? Okay, I hope I can pronounce this right. Zaid Bikhazi, Z-I-A-D B-I-K-H-A-Z-I. And he asks this in another question about the 30-70 stance and where I incorporated hips and waist. We're going to talk about this in the future a lot, and I want to point this out, all right? Some schools teach a 70-30 weight distribution when you turn. And I know you can't see me, and I'll draw this out, right? And it's good that you can't see me. Some schools, pretty much the Wang Xiang lineage. And then, wrong. Wang Xiang lineage teaches 50-50. Leung Ting lineage teaches 70-30. I need to clarify that. You keep your balance head, over hips, over feet. Okay? That's balance. All right? And that feet sucks. But you don't walk in life. No one walks in life head, hips, feet. No one walks like that. So why would you fight like that? Why would you shift? Oh, great. Well, this also looks like a wrestler stance almost, right? Almost. But you can't successfully fight in that position all the time unless you're facing another wrestler. In the 70-30 weight distribution, start, you turned, right? You turned your horse. Here's your hips. One leg will usually have the head over the hips, over the one foot, the back foot, while the other one is out to the side. So you turn, and you guys, you'll do it. You will have you'll turn on your heels specifically because they stay adhered to a concept as facts instead of a flowing living thing. And do it for yourself. Turn it to a 70-30 stance, and then boom, have somebody push you in, you're going to get knocked on your ass. We did 70-30 turning for the first 4 years of my Wing Chun career, and I came from a wrestling stance into 70-30 and went, I don't fucking understand this. Then we switched to 50-50, how it should have been done, and I went, I understand Wing Chun now. So no, 70-30 is wrong. But can somebody fight in 70-30? Of course. You have to keep this in mind. Okay, this is the problem right here. I hope I draw this big enough. Head, spine goes down, hips, and then your legs, right? Well, your center line, and we've talked about this, roots down into the ground, right? And you can see the last couple of videos I've done on that. And then your hips form anchors going into the ground, right? Well, if you don't keep that weight distribution in a turn, if you turn, every time you turn, right? So get that model in your head, right? Every time you turn, why are you going to risk having your tripod at a 70% weight on here, 30% there? Why are you going to, like, if you have I use this camera to film. Okay, that's my baby. I spent a lot of money on the body, and I spent $1,000 per each lens when I wound up doing the lens. And if you guys saw my studio for my radio, you'd see the amount of money I fucking spent in that. And I've got tripods set up. So on a tripod, why would I put, this is full extension out for a tripod. Here's these are my two Wing Chun legs, right? And then that's the tripod base in the back. So why would I put my tripod on there and take one of these legs and put all of the weight here? 70-30, right? Is this going to increase the strength of the tripod? Why would I take some of the action out? You have to have the tripod all the time. So your Wing Chun, when you're in your Selam Dao stance, what you're learning is your left leg, your right leg, and then any direction really, your hip energy goes down and forward. So when you turn, right, you're going to learn turning punch soon. Turn. Well, look, there's that center again. Turn. There's that center again. Turn. You always have to have that center of gravity going down and forward. So why would you do that and then divide up your stance in there? Plus, you really have to try to keep all 9 points of your foot on the ground at the same time. And it's hard to do based on the terrain that you're on. If you're going to be on grass and you want to try to fucking turn your feet all at once, good luck trying not to blow out a knee. Or get really heavy rubbery soled shoes, turn on a mat. You turn with all of your feet on the ground, you're going to blow out your knee. You're going to torque it up. So you turn on your heels. You pick up your toes just as slight as much possible. Just as possible. To get the job done. So, to answer your question roughly, all of your movements done on a 50-50 weight distribution, and Chum Q will teach you that. Try to do Chum Q with a 70-30. Fuck me, dude. It's going to mess you up. Absolutely mess you up. So, eliminate your 70-30 stance, go to a 50-50, and then when you turn, just pick your toes up as slight as you need to get the job done, and that'll be that. All right, I want to see if there's any other questions on that. I hope I answered that question. Let me see. Oh, how nice is it that so many people now are starting to do online Wing Chun tutorials? Even though I was one of the first. What are you going to do? All right, let me look back at first lesson real fast. Oh, look, more questions are coming in. All right. There's some awesome guys commenting here too. All right, guys, I really appreciate you thanking me for coming back. Don't thank me because this should have been years ago, but at the same time too, I appreciate you engaging. All right, all right. I think that's it so far. Let me look at the last one from today. Lesson 3. We did talk about the energy going forward and coming backwards at the same time. That's springy energy. So thank you, Robert Dreben. That is. I want to jump the gun on that one, but that's exactly what that is. All right, let me see. CB had another question. I hope this answered it. Hey, Mr. Izzo, love the instruction. Question about the stance in Sealam Dao. I find my body unconsciously trying to straighten up, my hips in line with my shoulders and feet. Is the curved posture supposed to feel natural? What mistake am I making? Yeah, when you get in your Sealam Dao stance, focus on squeezing your ass cheeks together. It'll naturally make you want to like fucking hump the air, and then you'll sink down lower. So in time, you'll feel that one. Yeah, so the original question from Zaid was, I'm confused about the punch while extending my arm. I thought that the same side hip should be engaged and rotated, giving a 70-30 stance respectively. We'll get into that when you've learning. Now you're learning static punch, tan, pak, bong. Well, when we get into the turn, when you're going to turn your horse, you're going to see how, yeah, if you turn 70-30, well, now you got this line going down. You know, my head is over, my left hip is over my left foot, and then I gotta turn and shift my axis. You're gonna be like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. All right, I want to see if there's any more questions. And no, and no. All right, let me look at what you guys got today. Oh, wait, can I look at it online while you guys are talking? Hang on, because it's hard for me to look at that. Let me see. You guys enjoying your quarantine? Kind of confusing times, aren't they? All right, here are some questions. Oh, geez, all right. Pablo, why do you think there are so many yun saos on every Wing Chun form? I think it's to exercise your wrist, number one, and it is a great motion for chi sao. You're going to be going around. It's also teaching forwarding. You know, it's a spiral action. Hit an obstruction, go around the obstruction, go forward. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You know, why is there so many punches in it? Who knows? Danielle Ouellet, I hope I'm pronouncing that. It's French. Ouellet. Ouellet. Dominic, I'm a Wing Chun practitioner from Canada. Oh, you got to be French. We are part of the Sunny Tang family. I like your stuff. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm unfamiliar with this stuff for the most part. Let's see. All right. James Irving, do you believe that all law enforcement officers should be trained in similar styles, including knowing laws and constitutional rights while responding to a call? Of course. Absolutely. They should. You should not know in constitutional rights. That is the epitome of what you're upholding and defending. 52 blocks versus jiu-jitsu. Well, I don't have an answer to that. It's going to be the fighter. What if you have a 52 blocks guy who is like 6'6" and 300 pounds, and then you've got a 5'1", 110-pound Brazilian jiu-jitsu girl who's a black belt? Lewis Navas, my tripod is always protected, man. Dude, you fucker. Senior Singh, I like when you smoke those big cigars. I bet you do, man. I bet you do. Why is Wing Chun not an MMA? Serious question. Well, you're seeing bits and pieces of it. You're seeing like guys like Anderson Silva, or who's that? I can't remember the newer guy that's out right now who does a lot of dummy stuff. You're seeing concepts in action, but it's also like asking, why don't you see MMA done in Chisao tournaments? You know, I mean, it's like, all right, well, they're coming with a certain style coming. If Chisao is limited to Chisao, and MMA, you've got kickboxing, boxing, and grappling. All right, and that's pretty much the three things that they're doing. You'll see when people are in a close proximity, they'll wind up using it, but you're not going to see people standing in a Munsao, Wusao stance. For the number one reason is you don't want to see guys getting embarrassed. You don't want people that fucking are going to be going out there and putting out a Munsao, Wusao. Yeah, Tony Ferguson, thank you. That kid's fucking, he's an animal. But you don't want to see those guys out there, you know, doing a Munsao Wusao stance, coming in, getting the shit kicked out of them. And, oh, look, see, Wing Chun doesn't work. I think there's a lot, it's a big mentality reason behind it, too. I really do. That's my 2 cents on that one. All right. Philip, Adrian, I have a question. Do you recommend going into a Munsao and Wusao as soon as you engage in a fight, or should you until you are in trapping bridging range? So the JKD has 5 ranges? You got kicking range, punching range, knee range, elbow range. There's like trapping range, whatever, grappling range. You got one range, that's contact range. So how tall are you versus how tall is your opponent? What's the reach on the two of them? And when I was a cop, I had my baton placed up front across my body, so I would rest my right hand on top of it, and I would talk to people, you know, like this. So this was the extent of my hand. Well, what can I do? Stop. No. What do you need me to do? Just talk to me. You tell me what you need me to do. My hands were always in the yellow, and plus being a Dago, talking with my hands was not a problem. But I never talked with a defensive body position. Never talked like that. It was always, you know, here, because I always wanted people to see my gun was strapped to my right leg. So I never wanted anybody to see a hand near my gun, because I didn't want them to be defend. Oh my gosh, he's got his hand by his gun. I never wanted them to have that kind of aspect. And then my hand was always here. Even when I took notes, I would take notes like this. You know, you're up there right away. To stand like this in a fight, you know, I don't. I think I'm that way. I don't think this versus here. I don't. What's this? You're the same thing. John Sullivan days of boxing. For me personally, the reason why my arms never stood out there, number one, is you hold it out here for about 10 seconds, it starts to get a little bit tiring, a little bit. And number two, all of my weapons were around my belt: taser, handcuffs, baton, OC, pistol. So why would I want to be all the way out here and some guy comes up with a fighting position and I can just go to my pepper spray right away? So for me, I kept my hands where they needed to be. Sometimes they needed to be all the way here, sometimes they needed to be here. It's a generic answer to your question, but I hope that makes some kind of sense. All right, let's see. More questions. I don't know. All right. Make sure you like this and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't seen some of the other videos, we got 4 lessons out so far. Go check them out. Enter the Chai Chi! You son of a bitch. How the hell are you, man? Go check out their channel, please. You want to talk about somebody, and I'll give you proper credit, somebody who teaches in a much calmer way. When I want to watch Wing Chun, let me put it this way. When I want to watch Wing Chun videos and I want peace, I watch their channel. Because it's so friggin' calming while learning deadly martial arts. So go watch, subscribe to Enter Tai Chi's channel, please, and watch their content because I love it. And it's good to see you still doing stuff. There's a lot of people over the years who have stopped doing it. So, yes, ENTERTAICHI. Make sure you wind up checking their channel out. I'm glad you're still doing things. I really am. He's one of the original ones, too. where's the comments here? All right. All right, Adrian, I hope that made sense too. And the beautiful thing about it too is like with their channel, there's some things that it's like it's not my way, but it makes sense when he teaches it. So you're like, all right, okay, I can see how that works. It's his perspective, and it friggin' works. So that's why I'm not somebody ever who says, oh, you're doing it wrong to a degree. Like, I don't agree with the 70-30 stance. Does not work for me. It doesn't mean that somebody can't go out and make a 70-30 stance work and go, oh, look, Izzo's wrong. Well, no, that just person can make it work. I can't. I can't make it work. My body just does not want to have all 70% of my weight on my back leg. So every rule in Wing Chun is made to be broken if you can break it and make it work. All right, let's see. Matthew Cuba, good to see him. Let's see what they have out now, too. Yeah, I'll give you the plug of the website, too. Is it still entershaolin.com? Make sure you go there. Because I'm really loving what they're doing, too. They're doing Q&A. They're doing a lot of live stuff, too. They were doing it before the whole lockdown here, so got to give them credit for what's going on. And yeah, they were one of the only ones who really had the balls too to meet with Danny Horgan. I did. They did. A couple others did too. But Jin Young did. So a lot of us really put our money where our mouth was when met with Jin. And the Enter Tai Chi. I hope it's Tai Chi or Tai Chi. I'm sorry. I hope it's Tai Chi. He's one of the only ones who had balls to on camera touch hands with Danny. Not too many other people did. So he did, I did, and Danny was not easy to wind up training with. All right. I'm gonna drink coffee. If you guys got any other questions, we'll spend a couple more minutes on this. I mean, we keep this brief. I really don't care. And maybe one day when we get out of quarantine, I'll start traveling again. We'll have Sifu full on. But he's not smacking me around. Yeah, Rosart. You know what? That's right. It's my coffee cup. Central University of Northern Texas. Thank you. Philip says, I feel the same way about my stances. My Sifu's always telling me to go to 70-30, but 50. And here's the deal, too. You should be able to question your Sifu without your answer being smacked around in return. So, and it's always how you question, too. Politely say, listen, you know what, because my first or my second Sifu sure as hell didn't want me on YouTube looking at other people's stuff, because that's when YouTube was relatively getting bigger. And I'd be like, hey, what are your, and I knew never to question him because I watched when other people questioned him. And he made sure that they knew whose class he was in. And I didn't fucking like it. And plus I think I was a grown man in my mid-30s at that point. Who was a police officer, and you're not going to fucking smack me around in your class and embarrass me. But if one of my students presented to me, yes, I'll tell you that in a second. If one of my students presented to me, hey, listen, you're teaching this, but I saw this on YouTube. Can you explain why you teach it this way? It's your job to be able to break it down. Because, if you can properly break it down and explain why you're doing something, you understand it better. So I'm going to tell you flat out right now, if your teacher cannot take the time to properly explain the importance of why something works, and bring up that tripod aspect. Bring it up, say, well, this is what I saw. I'm not questioning you, but I'm questioning why. Why here's a tripod. We don't take one leg of the tripod. We got the swivel that sets up like this. Why would I take one leg of a tripod, bring it in? Because now it's going to be like this. Oh, look, but yeah, you can put your head up like that. There's your balance. Because your head adjusts. So the pressure will go right down. 70% of the weight is on this leg and 30% is on this leg. Why would you have it that way? It's just a question. Why does that work that way? All right, let me look at these questions real fast. Have you ever tried any other martial art aside from JKD and Wing Chun? I never did JKD. I've trained with JKD guys, but I've never done JKD formally. I boxed and I was a wrestler all of my life. I still consider myself a wrestler. Um, Chris Wright. With regards to Monday's lesson, how do you know if the opposite hip is correctly activated when extending Wu Sao hand? So when you start getting pressure in, and if you're quarantined with somebody, you can put like your Wu Sao hand out there, right? Your right hand. And in this position, this is 90 degrees right here. So for me, too close for Wu Sao goes right in my shoulder. Do you notice what I'm doing? I'm putting pressure into it. So I go to 45 degrees. My pisiform bone, the energy is focused that way. My elbow energy is focused that way. And then both of my hips are focused down and forward while coming up and recruiting. Watch Monday's video if you haven't seen it. Have somebody put their hand on you and don't have them collapse right there. Have them start to slowly put in 2-3 pounds of pressure and activate. Turn your hand off. Put your pisiform bone on. And sometimes if you need to have more energy, point your hand in the direction where you want the energy to go. And feel your structure. If it's all upper body and you start to move backwards, your hips aren't engaged. Turn your upper body off, turn your hips on, and focus all those points. Focus. Here's your head, right? Got to focus your spine, your hips going down and forward, your knees, your ankles, your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, shoulders, elbows. All those points have to be focused. We're leaving that right now. All those points have to be going forward, okay? So focus on that. When you deviate off of when you separate, that should be your lower. When you all of a sudden put more emphasis on, here's your shoulders, here's your feet, here's your hips. When you separate these two, you separate them in training. But if they're not working together while you're in the application, go back to the drawing board. Go back to training. Joe Pacelli, hey Paisan, do you see similarity in all the arts? Yeah, the human body. I mean, and concepts are very similar. There's a ton of similarity in Wing Chun and wrestling and grappling and oh my God, it's all over the place. All right, let me see. What do you think, Christoph Osser? What do you think about the bong sao is your shield and your tan sao is your spear? No, bong sao. The bong sao is like the word and in a sentence. It bridges the two sentences together. It's like a semicolon. So a semicolon used in the English language is you have two sentences together brought by a semicolon, separates the thoughts, but continues one flow without it being a run-on. Same thing. Your bong sao, you should never see your bong sao. It should never be out there. It's a transition into any, so even if a Sifu Fo, I hope I'm pronouncing it the right way, from Enter the Chai Chi, teaches the spiraling action. Go back and check out his other videos. Well, look at Tan Sao, or look at Tan Sao to Yun Sao for a second. If I'm doing a punch, and I'm an obstruction meets, and I do a Yun Sao to come into going forward, that's transition. Punch, pressure, turns into bong, collapses into Fox Sao. It's just a transition. You should never, ever, ever see it. That's just my opinion. For those who are relying on like, oh, here's a guy coming out, I'm going to throw out my bong sao, you just lost it. You lost the fight. CB, how has your understanding of Wing Chun changed you as you've gotten wiser? I don't think so. I think my getting older has changed my understanding of Wing Chun, because I'm not as aggressive as I used to be. So it's not all like going in there and willing to take a hit to get in. I think you just maturity changes everything. And thank you, Sifu. Says you're right. Absolutely good teacher should welcome him. And that's the one thing I like about his stuff. He would never. It is Fu. Oh, Sifu Fu. He would never. He's somebody that you could tell. I'm going to give you credit by this. You are, because you're confident. You've got a little bit of me in you, and I got a little bit of you in you. You're that. You can see that sly son of a bitch look on your face when somebody's asking a question. You're just like, oh, I got this motherfucker. but I'm going to teach you anyways. And I do like that about you. Because some people, if they don't have that aggressiveness, then what am I going to learn from them for? But you know you have the switch if it's there. That's why I like your stuff. All right. So let's take a couple more. All right. I believe the website is okay. We saw that. Matthew Kuba says, I have a question. How do you make Bong Sao work against a grappling? You don't make Bong Sao work. Bong Sao works under the circumstance. And seriously, the best situation I saw was, I believe, Anderson Cooper, or was it Tony Ferguson? One of them made it work. So if Bong Sao, if we train it, it's this distance away from the body, 45-degree angle. Well, does that mean that it has to be perfectly applied here for you to see it in action? What if it's here? It's collapsed here. I can't tell you how to make something work. If I train a punch and my distance is here, right? I've got it 3/4 of the, it's not fully extended out, but in training it's 3/4 of the extension out. I've got the alignment, my shoulder's off. What if a punch is here? What if it's that close and you don't see it work? How many times have you seen Mike Tyson drop someone? If you're my age, if you're not my age, go back and go to YouTube and watch it. Because I was a kid, I watched it on HBO. It was always a first round knockout. How often have you ever seen Mike Tyson hit somebody and knock him out? You don't. It happens so fast and it's so close. Like boom. It's like what? Where's that punch at? The controversial punch, Sonny Liston and Muhammad Ali. Granted, some of us think that Sonny Liston threw the fight, but that punch was so fast you couldn't see it. Everybody is hung up on seeing a technique. Really, if I wind up, and we'll wrap this up, if I wind up teaching you perfectly Pak punch, Tan punch, bong, lap chop, punch, gansao, bong, fuksao, paksao, straight blast, and you do that for 1,000,000 times in a year, and you are so mechanically sound, you go walking out of my class one day, a guy winds up coming in a back alley and goes to rob you, and in an instant, you don't know what you did, but you're standing and he's not. Are you going to care? So that's the one thing that really has distanced me from the Wing Chun community over the years, is that a lot of guys want to say, oh, that's not real Wing Chun. Oh, that's bullshit. That wouldn't work. Okay, whatever. That's your opinion. That's fine. Go ahead. I'm very vocal about my opinions, and I say who I like. I say who I don't like, and that's based on what I see. And, I mean, it is what it is. All right. I want to make sure I got all you guys' questions. Remember, we do this every Thursday, 2 p.m. Sifu, put in the comments, please, when you go live. Make sure everybody knows how they can wind up getting a hold of you, please. All right. All right, we're going to wrap it up there then. And I don't know if these live questions translate over into the video after it's been posted. So, Sifu, if you don't see your stuff, put it up in the comments afterwards. Oh, it's UK. Martin's Wing Chun is 8 p.m. in the UK. Jeez, how's coronavirus over there? All right. Enter Tai Chi. Sifu Fu goes live on Fridays at 11:30 Eastern. 11:30 Eastern. So make sure you watch that. So that's tomorrow. That's 11:30 Eastern, and it's going to be 10:30 a.m. Central. All right, guys. That's it. We'll be back Monday, and we'll do more form stuff. Like I said, make sure you go check out Sifu Fu's channel. And other than that, man, I appreciate you guys joining with this. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Questions are great. It's returning me to enjoying Wing Chun, which I haven't since I closed down the school in 2017. So over the last 3 years, I've been like to Wing Chun, but now I'm like, oh, I'm enjoying this again. So I'm thankful for you guys, because without you, I really wouldn't give a shit on this. I will see you guys Monday. And then what I'd like to do... And I swear, I promise not to do this. I will never do anything live if I can help it to obstruct anybody else's stuff. So now that I know that Sifu Fu is doing things live at 10:30 my time on Fridays, I will never do anything at his time. And I think it's important. So maybe once a week on Friday afternoons, I will, later afternoons, I will do some concepts based on question-wise. So we'll keep with Mondays, forms, Wednesdays, training and application. And then Thursdays live, and maybe once or twice a month, and not obstruction time, I will put out concepts based on what you guys want to see. All right, that's that. Have a great damn day. You guys be safe in this quarantine. Train. Go back to the other videos if you haven't seen them. If you have questions, type them in there. I'll get to them. And I'll see you guys Monday. Have a great weekend.